It takes two to tango, and it also takes two to play these games. I'm Steve, and welcome to my new series where I give you my top 10 collection essentials. It's time to strap into your seatbelts because it's going to be a bumpy ride with number 10. Number 10. Sky Team. Sky Team is an amazing co-op that features dice placement as a main mechanic. You are trying to successfully land the plane by maintaining speed, turning into position, bringing down the flaps, and clearing a path to the airport. The only issue, there's no conversation during the round. Not knowing what dice the other person has played is really painful because it's super important to know what dice that they've rolled. For example, if I play a 3 and the co-pilot plays a 5, when steering, it will turn 2 spaces in their direction. Turn too much and you'll crash and it's game over. Balance is everything in this game. It's deliciously tense and every move is important. This honestly makes it feel like you're biting your hand the whole time because it causes an insane amount of stress. But because of that, it feels so satisfying when you manage to work together and pull off a successful landing. Honestly, the best thing about the game though is just how much replayability it has. Coming in with over 10 airports and 20 scenarios means 2 games will just never feel the same. Number 9, Splendid Duel. Splendid Duel is pretty similar to the original engine builder, but with some added mechanics to bring it to a 10. On your turn, you get 3 actions. You draft gems from a board, take a gold gem and a card with it, or buy a card from the supply. The game has 3 win conditions. Score 10 points in one colour, collect 10 crowns, or score 20 points in total. This makes the game highly replayable, especially because you don't know what cards are going to come out during that game. Every decision you make in this game is important. Both blocking and building your engine are vital for victory. The way in which you draft gems in this game is far more interesting than the original, as you're drafting up to 3 gems on the board. And if you take too many of the same colour, you'll give a reputation token away, which allows the other player to hand in at a later date to get any token of their choosing, except for a gold. The reputation tokens and special abilities on the cards are 2 little changes that totally transform the game from the original and make it something really special. Every time you take your turn, it always feels like you're giving something else away, which is so painful. And it's something that Bruno Cathala has mastered with his 2-player games. Coming in at 8, Cape of Europe. In Cape of Europe, you're committing a heist in one of 4 cities. In each round, you take turns drafting cards, odds, thieves, evens, equipment. Control parts of the city to score unique endgame scoring and collect stolen goods for set collection to boot. Score the most points to win the game. The card play in this game is absolutely brilliant. It's a great tug-of-war experience, and though it can be mean, it actually takes the opponent an action to be mean, so it feels really balanced and fair. This, and the different abilities you get on the equipment cards, always means you're in for a good time. Honestly, there's so many scoring paths in this one, and it really makes for an interesting experience. But for me, nothing comes close to the theme. It's honestly unreal. It feels like you're playing Ocean's 11 or The Italian Job. It just hits the nail on the head. And honestly, the art style is through the roof. On top of that, the production value on this game is absolutely insane. Look how well everything fits into the box with an amazing insert, and it just looks so beautiful. And like I said, it's absolutely dripping in theme. Number 7, Patchwork. In Patchwork, you're building a quilt trying to collect as many buttons as possible. On your turn, you draft a polyomino up to 3 spaces using a shared pawn. You add the piece to your board, spending buttons and time to do so. You can also pass to catch up to the opponent and collect a button for each space moved. When moving on the track, you will pass button symbols, earning you a total sum of visible buttons on your quilt. When you hit the end of the track, you finish the game. You get 1 point for every single button you have at the end of the game, and lose 2 points for every empty space on your board. The first player to make a 7x7 also gets a bonus of 7 points. Okay, so here's the thing. The theme is an absolute lie. This is not a cozy game. And in typical Uwe Rosenberg fashion, he makes you suffer in the best possible way. The game has such a tight economy. Trying to balance getting both buttons and the bigger pieces to fill your board is so bloody painful. But because of that, it feels so satisfying when you play really well and you get a huge button economy and manage to fill the majority of your board. I love how punishing it can be and how deceptively deep this game actually is. It does a great job of building turn angst as you wait patiently to get that piece that you've waited for the whole entire game just to watch it snagged away from you. This one is also the easiest game of all time to upgrade. You can buy a pack of real buttons on Amazon for like £3 and it makes the game look 10 times better immediately. Out of all of the games that I'm showing you today, although it's not my favourite, this is honestly the one that I would tell everyone to buy. It's a must-own game. Definitely well-deserved on the Collection Essentials list. Number 6. Lone Wolves. Lone Wolves is a trick-taking game with area majority thrown in. On your turn, you play a card in one of 5 locations and the other player must follow suit if they can. They can choose to play in a different area if they wish. The higher card wins and the loser turns the card over, becoming a lone wolf. These are only worth a single point. However, the loser also takes a scar token from the location they were at and selects an area to put it in, giving either endgame scoring or bonuses. You win by scoring the most points from area majority by totaling all your wolves in that location and by scoring said scar tokens. I just love how elegant the design is. You have an amazing choice of actions and all you're doing on your turn is playing a single card. And it's such a quick, intense game because of it. Another important aspect is losing is super important. It's actually sometimes better than winning, so it makes every card you play a delicious decision. You can honestly score more points from the scar tokens than you can from area majority. Another design element that I love is that the highest card of a suit, a 7, is cancelled by the lowest card of the same suit, a 2. This is such a good idea and it really makes you think twice about what to do with your hand when you're holding the highest numbered suit. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how easy this game is to get. I picked this one up in Singapore when I was on vacation, but if you like 2-player trick-taking games, then this is easily one of the best. It would have been a crime for me to leave this off the list. We're halfway there now, and coming in at number 5 is Beer and Bread. Beer and Bread is a midweight Euro by Scott Arms, and on your turn you draft cards to take one of 3 actions. Get goods, score a beer or bread card, or finally, take a special ability for the rest of the game. Get the most money to win, but you only score the lowest of your collected beer or bread. When you collect goods, the cards amalgamate, and you only have enough space for 9 goods. Any extra goods go to the other player. And for me at least, this happens a lot. To get the exact goods you need can be very difficult, and it's so painful to give away too much stuff. But for me, this is what makes the game so interactive. My favourite thing about the game is how the rounds work. Every odd round, you draft cards, and on even rounds, you pick up the cards you played for goods from the previous round. This means you can score those beer and bread cards without stressing they will be taken during the draft from the round before. But only if you're clever with management. Because choosing what cards to play for Because choosing what cards to play for goods becomes very painful. It's an all-around great Euro and has loads of replayability because of those special abilities you get every time that you took a card under. Definitely worth checking this one out. Number 4, Yinch. In Yinch, you try to score 5 in a row of your own colour by moving one of your circles in a straight line, jumping over any pieces. The pieces are double-sided, one being black and the other white. Whenever you jump over them, they are flipped over to the other colour. Get 5 in a row 3 times and you win. It's a wonderfully simple game and it makes for an amazing head-to-head experience. I love how easy and smooth it is, and it's so satisfying when a plan comes together. It really is an amazing abstract game, and I could totally cheat here as it's actually part of a series. The series is called GIF, I think. GIF? It's either GIF, GIF, or GIF. I'm not sure which one, but I know it's one of them. I apologise. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. Sorry. Anyway, that's not what's important. What's important is that you could easily take any number from this series and it could quite easily become a collection essential. The whole series is absolutely fire. My other 2 favourites include Devon and Tsar. Both are equally as simple, but are brimming with depth and are definitely worth checking out. GIF? GIF? GIF. I think it's GIF. I think the P's silent. I think it's GIF. If I had to guess, I would say GIF. Right. There we go, let's go. Yeah. Right, we're at the top 3 games now, and coming in at number 3, we have The Lord of the Rings, Duel for the Middle-earth. In Lord of the Rings, The Duel for Middle-earth, you draft a set of cards from a tableau to try and win in one of 3 ways. Get 6 support by collecting green cards, conquer all of Middle-earth by collecting red cards, and finally, destroy the ring or catch Frodo and Sammy Boy, depending if you play good or evil, collecting blue cards. It takes from the original Seven Wonders Duel and throws in a much better theme and simplifies the mechanics. This makes it, in my opinion, the superior choice. The drafting in this game is so good, and having 3 ways to win is so fun. The opponent will naturally be doing better than you in some of the win cons, which makes it so stressful to balance while playing. It really keeps you on your toes. I love that the green cards have a ton of unique powers that can really break the game. Things like being able to take another turn, or every time you draft a yellow card, go again. This is one of those games that you set up to play once and you end up playing like 5 times in a row. I also love that the side of the box shows the different setups for the rounds. As the tableau changes from round to round, it's such a little thing, but it goes a long way. I always love it when publishers go the extra mile for a quality of life improvement. It really makes a difference to me. Number 2. Number 2, Chu Han. Chu Han is a ladder climbing shedding game in which you are trying to score 31 points to win. Get rid of all of your cards, then score 1 point for every card left in your opponent's hand to a maximum of 5. What really makes this game special is that all the 3s and the 6s have special abilities. The abilities are absolutely busted, and it almost makes it feel like you're playing Magic the Gathering when you play. Honestly, I have absolute no idea why nobody is talking about this game. This game is so unique and interesting, and it's honestly like nothing I've ever played before. Because of this, it actually can be a bit janky when you first learn it, but after a few games, it totally sings. Designer Tom Lehman, known for Race for the Galaxy and Rezakana, really has a knack for making amazing card games. And out of all of the games that he's designed, this is my favourite, and that's really saying something. One of the most interesting things you can do is drawing 2 cards on your turn by taking a writ. It can be risky, as every writ you will lose a point if you don't win the round, but it gives you a great choice, especially if you have a bad hand. It's a really interesting aspect of the game, as not many ladding shedder games allows you to draw cards. If you're after a knife fight in a phone booth, then this is the one for you. The art is also through the roof, and it even comes with a pared down version so you can take it anywhere. This is one of my most played games from last year, and I absolutely adore it. It's a true original. Number 1, Fields of Arle. Is it Fields for Arle? Is it Arle? Arle, it sounds more fun, but I think it's Arle. Fields of Arle is a worker placement sandbox game that splits into 2 sides, summer and winter, and it is, in my opinion, one of Uwe Rosenberg's greatest designs. The game has so many different ways to score. Animals, good conversion with shipping through vehicles, buildings, parks, dikes, walks to other villages. Actually, I could go on for about an hour, but I really want to keep this video short. If you're after an amazing 2-player game that's quite involved, but offers a bloody good puzzle, then this is the game for you. This is one of my wife's favourite games of all time. Sophie has this to say.
So what I really like about the game, like with all Uwe games, there's so many different things to go for. Do you go for animals? Do you go for buildings? You have to have a really clear strategy from the beginning, otherwise you'll be all over the place. So for me, I always do the travel. So I always make sure, if not finish the travel board, the path up the side of the board, I'll get fairly close to the top, usually around 9 points at least. And Steve never goes for that.
This can be quite a tight game. Even though the board has so many choices, it's really easy to get locked out of what you want for the round, making turn order really important. Uwe Rosenberger. Oh, let's eat him. Uwe Rosenberg is my all-time favourite designer of all... Is my all-time favourite designer of all time? What are you talking about, Steve? Uwe Rosenberg is my favourite designer of all time, and this is my favourite 2-player game of his. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please do me a huge favour and like and subscribe. I'd really value any feedback, so please hit me up in the comment section below. Tune in every week for my top 10 essentials and more. Thanks so much for watching. Cheerio!